And basically, my name's Graham Moore. I'm from Motivate Radio. But we also have got two other groups. One is takebackcontrol.vote, which is about taking back the control from the tyranny that this country's in at the moment. And when I talk about tyranny, I'm talking about the times of the Magna Carta. There was tyranny and the people took back control. 400 years later, it happened again. You had the Glorious Revolution and the people took back control. And then now we've got it again. It seems like every 400 years we have a serious problem and the people have to step in and say, stop. You know, we're not tolerating this. So that's where we come from. So Motivate Radio in particular, we've got a number of different issues, not, and I may emphasise this, not just Islam, right? So we have issues with our current banking system, which is a fraud on the people. We have issues with our current political system, which again, like I said, is tyranny at the moment. So I don't want people out there to think we're a single issue. This is the major problem. It is a threat to everyone at the moment, but the banking system is just as much as a threat. Introduce who you are and what your qualifications are or were, and what are you in regards to Islam.
Yeah, sure. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. First of all, I came to this country about 24 years ago, and I have LLB honors and LLM degrees. I have trained myself from Harvard University on cyber laws, and I was also doing my PhD in law when I had to stop it following IS threats directly against me. Because they were threatening that they would kill me at Trinity. So that was the reason, one of the main reasons I had to stop going to Trinity to complete my PhD. I have several other diplomas on laws and trainings. I was an immigration casework supervisor at a law office in London. I was also working for leading law offices in the US, and I was also a practicing barrister in Bangladesh. So this is all regarding my background. I was also a journalist and a leading columnist of the largest circulated Bangladeshi English newspaper, the Daily Star. And I preached Islam since I was 16 years of age. So I preached Islam all over the world, from South Korea to Canada, all over the world I preached Islam. I debated Christian leaders, including the head of Bangladesh Bible Society, now late Michael Chuni Mandal. I debated the head of Atheist Ireland, Michael Nugent, on Islam. I addressed the oldest philosophical society, the Phil, in Dublin. So I was engaged with Islam all my life. But I came to my senses, I would say, when I seriously condemned the Paris attack, if you remember the nightclub attack.
Yeah.
Then that woke me up, because I was quite unapologetic in my explicits regarding condemning the terrorist attack in Paris. And havoc broke loose after that. Havoc broke loose, and I started receiving death threats from all over the world. The Muslims who were rather worshipping me in a way for what I was doing, how I was preaching Islam.
Yeah.
They became my enemies. I started criticizing East London Mosque, which I think East London Mosque is nothing more than a terrorist-making hub. And I believe that there are organizations who are running charities, and I believe they are, that if you read the doctrine they follow, those doctrines are quite in common, if not the same, with the IS and Al-Qaeda and all those terrorist networks. So I was quite shocked. They were after my credibility. They were making up stories, creating false lies, allegations against me overnight. There were Facebook pages made against me because I am still the most influential South Asian online activist with hundreds and thousands of followers. Yeah. So I was also going to Islam TV as a speaker in London. So they were setting up pages on Facebooks, calling me a Zionist Christian sell-off for speaking out against terrorism and against Muslims who were not criticizing these activities, because all I have seen so far, up to today, that whenever these terrorist incidents happen, the Muslim scholars will say this has nothing to do with Islam, especially in the West, not in the Eastern countries, not in the Muslim nations. They would not condemn it in so many words.
No.
Where they should.
Yep.
They should. But they're condemning it in general terms. They will not give you theological arguments for people like me who know Islam very well, in theological sense, that how it is not against Islam, such a terrorist activity, because there are examples which justifies these terrorist attacks according to Quran, according to Hadith, according to examples by Muhammad's followers throughout human history, so far in the last 1400 years. So I was trying to, in fact, defend Islam still. I was still a Muslim then, that this has nothing to do with Islam, you shouldn't act like that. But I was told that, brother, you do not bring out our problems in the public. You discuss it in between us if you have a problem. Okay, if you think they're derailed. But that doesn't mean you have to be open about it. Why do you have to tell them off in such harsh words? Because I said, when you are not allowed to breathe, you have to shout. I had to shout out my point. So since then, I slowly woke up to the fact that all these activities, atrocities that we are seeing around the world, in the name of Islam, are in fact Islamic. So Muslims, overwhelming majority of them, do not even know Quran. That's the good side of it. They don't know. They may be ritualistic. Even me, being a Muslim preacher all my life, I knew all that. But somehow my apologetic mind was shifting through the good ones, the good interpretations. I was concocting good interpretations, like Majid Nawaz does.
Yeah.
Majid Nawaz does. He doesn't know Islam. Or if he does, he's being a hypocrite about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've got personal knowledge only because I've read an article, funny enough, from The Guardian, by a journalist who has won awards for investigative journalism that has stated that Majid Nawaz was there and one of the people responsible for the very first jihad murder in London. Now, that didn't come from me. That comes from a journalist from The Guardian.
Okay, Graham, the thing is, that side is not my concern at the moment. My concern is whether he's trying to defend a religion with falsehood. He's trying to give a new understanding of Islam, which has no basis.
Right, let me just put this in a... There's been reference to this, and I've tried to explain to people. When you say defending Islam with falsehoods,
yes,
are you referring to something that is called tikya? Yeah.
Well, yes, in a way, yes. In a way, you're right. Yes, that can be what Najid is doing. In a way, it can be defined as taqiyya. If he's knowingly doing it, right. I would say knowingly, if he's knowingly doing it. Because when he says that, when you ask little Muslim girls to wear the burqa or hijab, it's a child abuse. Okay, good enough. But what about asking children to memorize Quranic verses when they're not even grown up enough to understand even the apologetic context?
Yeah.
Those are child abuse.
That's brainwashing.
That is embedded in the children's mind forever.
Yeah.
And it is extremely difficult for Muslim kids to get out of that. Very difficult. Because Islam is a totalitarian faith. It does not allow you even to question. Surah 21, verse 23. It doesn't allow. And it's full of treachery. Full of treachery. And I don't understand why the mainstream wouldn't allow ex-Muslims like me who are being persecuted. I'm in hiding, Graham. I'm in hiding.
No, I agree entirely. I know exactly.
Sadiq Khan is a liar. He's a liar.
Yeah.
When he said that there is no such thing as no-go place in London. That's a lie. Because if you, Graham, put a hidden camera on my chest, and if I walk down East London, let's put it this way, I will bet I will be killed within 30 minutes. If not,
let me
if not seriously hurt.
let me tell you this, right? And it's funny that you bring up Sadiq Khan. When he became Mayor of London, he had to resign his seat in Tooting.
Yeah.
I was born in Fulham, Southwest 6, basically, and Tooting is not far from where I was born.
Yeah.
I stood as a candidate in Tooting, and I had 4 guys come up to me with the beards, with the ceremonial dress, or whatever you want to describe it, with knives, and told me to leave. To leave Tooting. And now that's Sadiq Khan's own constituency.
Goodness gracious me. But as I said, Sadiq Khan, he either being a hypocrite about it, or he's lying. Which one is it? Or he's totally ignorant. If he's ignorant,
now you've got you saying it, I'm saying it, other people are saying it. So why is Sadiq Khan still saying there isn't a problem?
Well, because he's not allowing people like me to talk. Because if I go to mainstream, I will take them apart in argument.
Yeah.
Because even this one, the child grooming thing, it has everything to do with Islam. Everything to do. Because Muhammad himself said to one of his followers, "Who did you marry?" He said, "I married a matron." He said, "Why don't you marry a young virgin girl so that you can play with her?" And it has reference to another hadith where Aisha, Muhammad's 9-year-old wife, said, "When we were playing with dolls, with my friends, Muhammad came in, and all my friends were hiding." Imagine this, all other girls were hiding. Why? Because they were kids. And then Muhammad will tell them to come out, and Muhammad will join in games with them with dolls. So you tell me, what does it suggest? Muhammad instigating others to marry virgin girls. And if you ask any Muslim, they will never condemn it. They will never condemn it in unapologetic terms. And you can say it was that time. My question is, Muhammad is not an example of that time. Surah 33, verse 21. He's an example of all times.
Yeah.
All times.
Yeah.
And they will say she was menstruating. A stupid argument. A child's mental age has a lot to do with it. That even if the child is menstruating, the child mental is still a child.
Yeah.
So this kind of hypocrisy is prevalent in every aspect of Islam. And I woke up to it because I ran out of apologetic arguments. And I can say with all fairness, probably without even realizing it, I was a hypocrite all my life. And the good thing is, let me again make it very clear. We must not, lose our resolve in a way. We must not lose humanity. We must love people. I believe in loving everybody.
So do I.
Because if you, Graham, you said the other day you are a Christian, and I will say, if you're a Christian, you have to believe that Jesus said, one who lives by the sword will die by the sword. And you have to love your enemy. And we have to help Muslims out of Islam.
I agree entirely. That is exactly my point.
75% of Muslims do not speak Arabic. They memorize those verses, they wear the hijab, and they pray, they wear the beard. Honestly, they're good people, 90% of them, I'm sure, because I was one of them.
Yeah.
But they do not know the real geopolitics and teachings behind it. So the more devoted you become, the more prone you are being radicalized, because you start knowing the real instructions of Islam, and you start following. When you wear a beard, this is very important. Islam believes in copying Muhammad. Copying Muhammad is a mark of showing love.
Yeah, right.
Copying. Even Majid knows wears a beard, right? So copying Muhammad is part of the faith. So that is the danger.
Yeah. So in other words, if you read the Sunnah of Muhammad, which is everything that Muhammad did, if you're supposed to copy that, then you're reading that as a manual of what I should do. And you just follow what he did, and therefore, if he's done X, Y, Z, that is why you're getting the problems now, because they are literally following it by the letter.
All I want as an ex-Muslim preacher and an ex-Muslim leader, all I want is this: we should have the right to debate and have dialogues openly and let the public decide.
I agree.
Simple as that. Let the public decide. Bring it on.
I agree.
If I'm proven wrong, I will apologize. And I will say I stand corrected. Let the public decide.
Yeah.
And that's the fear. That's called political correctness. They are not allowing us because they know they have no legs to stand on. Anything like this, Barcelona attack, you will see global leaders coming out and saying, this has nothing to do with Islam. And we will say, hello, how come? As far as I understand, this has everything to do with Islam. How come it's not accurate to Islam?
What I generally say to people, if it's got nothing to do with Islam, why is it that all these people that are not in communication with each other are committing the same offences, the same type of offences, and the same way? Where are they getting it from?
These are all exemplified in Muhammad's lifetime.
Exactly.
And his close companions. Why am I hiding? That's self-evident enough. Being a British citizen, why should I have to hide in Britain? Why? Tell me that, Grant.
No,
why?
no, I totally agree, which is I agree with you entirely.
I am not a politician. You tell me this. Why, in exchange of what? In exchange of what, I will take the death threats from millions of people. In exchange of what? In exchange of what, I'll give up my freedom of going to shopping mall, watching movie, going to music. And in exchange of what, I will allow my wife not to allow me to see my kids. Because I am an ex-Muslim.
Yeah.
I should be ostracized. Why do I see that Bangladeshi shops, they're saying, if you mix with Mufassil, you are not dealing with us. Why is that? Why am I getting like videos online where they harass me, give me direct death threats, and they're getting thousands of shares and thousands of comments saying, good on him, kill him. Why?
And if you got the evidence of those death threats online and them videos, because that is what I want to present to the court. Because the judge, what I'm asking the judge to do is we're going to ask for a declaration. And the declaration from the court is to say to our members of parliament, you must read this, this and this, and you must look at these death threats and understand that this is a serious problem. And if you don't do it, you're failing in your duty to protect the people. That means you, me, and everybody else.
So, nothing can buy the torture that I had going through. I was a well-known man. I was famous among Muslims. Why do you think I gave it up? Why? Why should I give it up? I gave it up because I found that to be against humanity.
Exactly.
And the government needs to recognize we are disabled people. We are technically disabled. We cannot run an office. I cannot go and work in an office because what happened to Charlie Hebdo? They will come and shoot me if they know I'm there.
Yeah.
So we are not being financially supported for the extra situation that we are in.
No.
For freedom of speech, exercising freedom of speech. The freedom of speech, which I took an oath when I became a British citizen, that I will respect the values of this country.
Yeah.
Because I was given in trust to keep the country Britain. I'm British. I didn't come to France. I didn't come to Italy. I didn't come to Saudi Arabia. I made an informed, chosen decision.
Yeah. I understand that, you
have no choice. You were born. You were part of it. It hurts more. It hurts more to see that I chose a country where I cannot move freely anymore. How did that makes me feel?
No, I know, and what you've just said there resonates with me because you took an oath, and you have believed in that oath, and you have honoured that oath towards Britain and England, and yet our members of parliament and our judiciary have took the same oath to protect us and have not honoured it. So if me and you can honour our oath to protect people, why can't they?
They have to go by political correctness because they have to make friends with a country called Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, which is funding terrorism directly and indirectly around the world. Because Saudi Arabia has been sending theologians passing from Medina University, the very Medina University, which is teaching extreme form of Islam, the pure form. When I say extreme, it's a pure form of Islam, and sending them throughout every part of the world, and they are preaching hate.
Is that the Medina University, did you say?
Yeah, that's right. I was a special guest there when I was a Muslim preacher. I was a special guest there,
Right.
and I spoke there. And I feel ashamed now. It's part of my experience anyway.
Yeah.
It's part of my experience. But it's shame that I was ever knowingly or unknowingly, not unknowingly, of course, a Muslim. I'm sorry. And I believe my Muslim cousins, my families, they should wake up and just leave this cult. This is a cult. You can go in and you can go in, but you cannot come out. And you will see, I don't know whether you know this, overwhelming majority of new Muslims, new converts to Islam, leave Islam within the first 5 years. Did you know this? And they cannot publicly declare that because they will be killed. They will be killed.
Yeah.
What kind of religion is? How do you call this freedom? How do you call this freedom?
Yeah.
In America, they have at least amended the Freedom of Religion Act, and they have included that if somebody leaves religion and criticizes religion, he should be harassed or subjected to discrimination. I am being subjected to harassment, hate, threat, day and night.
No, I agree. And I absolutely get what you're saying. So let me just go through, I mean, we've been through the level of threats that you're under and why. So the main fear of current Muslims is leaving, and because there is an instant death threat. That is Islamic, and that is pure Islam. If you leave Islam, you are dead.
Here's the challenge. You cannot find me a single major, well-known Muslim scholar from anywhere in the world, even here from UK, who will say that if you leave Islam and criticize Islam, you will not be killed, according to Islamic jurisprudence. You cannot find me a single Muslim scholar. That's a challenge. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Or if we did find one, and he said no, that's not true, then we know that's Tekia.
Well, who said that? I want to know. I just
if there was one, I haven't heard one yet. To be honest, no, I haven't. I'll make you right. So what would you say? And I know you received this document of me, and bearing in mind I do something what's known as, well, you're a very clever man. So you've heard of engineering and open source engineering, where people from all over the world work together to make something and engineer something for humanity. I believe in something called open source law, where we bring in and say all the people, and I've got judges that send me things, a bit like not like yourself. You've actually stuck your head up going above the parapet. But you imagine that there are people, for example, quite senior in Islam that are not as brave as you, but may send me little bits of information and say, don't say I said it. Well, I also get judges in this country and barristers in this country and legal professors in this country that send me their little snippets and say, use that, you're doing the right thing. Yeah. So, but the point is, I sent you this document, which is the United Nations Treaty Series on Genocide. Now, as you read through that, would you agree with my assertion that Islam and the elements of Islam fit into what I would describe as genocide?
Well, as you know, I have law degrees and I worked in human rights and refugee laws for 20 odd years. I will tell you, without a shred of doubt, Islam is a genocidal religion, 100%. There's no question about it. Right. Islam believes in genocide because it is exemplified during Muhammad's life, and even Muslim conquerors, invaders like Timur Lane, he invaded India and he carried out genocide in Delhi. So it's exemplified throughout Islamic history. It's a genocidal religion. And there are Quranic verses to justify that. Surah 91 verse 14 says, if the interpretation of verse number 14 of Surah 9, which is in fact another treachery, in Revelation timeline, Surah 9 is in fact 112, which is in the last leg of Muhammad's life, of the 114 surahs. It tells that Muslims get satisfaction out of, tormenting and insulting death of their enemies. They get satisfaction in their heart. Yeah. If you're a good person, even if you have to, for defending yourself, you have to kill someone, because you're being, attacked.
Attacked, yeah.
Still, you feel sorry for that person. That's humanity. But Quran is teaching you get satisfaction from that killing.
Well, that is and again, that is there's two elements to it that psychiatrists and psychologists would call psychopathic and.
Yeah, of course.
It's a trait where there is no conscience, because the conscience has been removed, believing that they're doing the right thing.
Muhammad never had consciousness. He was a psychopathic maniac.
Yeah.
He was a barbarian, a rapist.
Well, he was a good warrior, and the thing is that people don't realise that as a warrior, that he's not.
Graham, he was not a good warrior. A good warrior is someone who respects a good opponent, even at war.
Yeah.
So Muhammad never had respect. He was butchering his opponents. Yeah. He butchered Jewish people for no reason, even. Fadak.
No reason whatsoever. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So on the right. So if we get back to this document, if I asked you, as someone who is highly skilled and an apostate, to go through these, Article 2 and Article 3, yeah, which is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 items, to match the either hadiths, Quranic verses, or the Sunnah to any of them. So if I was presenting it to a judge, or we was presenting it to a judge, he can look at that document, match that to that, and say, I cannot deny that this maps to genocide.
Of course I can do that. That's not a problem. Of course I can do that. And I can put forward arguments which will be extremely impossible, totally impossible, for Muslims to come up with counter arguments. Yeah. That there are provisions to it, there are context to it. I can do that way. But that's what I'm saying, that we need also public support to have the public support. We need to bring these things out in the public.
I agree.
And we need media support. Well,
the way to get the public support and the way to get the public eye on it is to do it at the Royal Courts of Justice. And I am absolutely adamant that people like you and me that have taken oaths and believe in our oath. Yeah, so you believe in your oath to this country, and I respect that. I have taken an oath to make sure that we take back control, and by doing that we need to go to court and say to the judge, and this is in English law, are you on your oath? And if you are, you know that it is a very serious offence to perjure that oath. This is the evidence. We're telling you this is the problem. You should be completely separate from the political system, and you need to make a decision. End of. And if the evidence is so overwhelming, which I know it is, and you know it is, then the judge has got to say, okay, this is my consideration, and he can't say anything other.
I'm with you on the point that Islam is a religion which instructs genocide. I have no doubt about that. I have researched into that for 35 years. I preached that religion for 35 years. I've been from one end of the world to the other end, and I can tell you that without a shred of doubt, Islam instructs genocide where value of human dignity isn't present. If anything that is you find lovely, for example, zakat, giving charity, zakat goes to Muslims only. It doesn't go to non-Muslims.
Yeah.
So there are monies being pumped out of the country. I understand you have to give to poor country, but there are people who are suffering in this country.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And the thing is, what you're saying is you swore an oath to this country and to the people of this country. So therefore you're saying, just like we do, why are you giving millions away in aid when we've got our own homeless and our own people at food banks?
100%.
Yeah.
Where are my children going to live? Where are my grandchildren going to live? They're going to live here.
I agree entirely. And the thing that makes me laugh is we are both singing off the same hymn sheet, yeah? And then everyone looks round and says, you're bad people. Why are we?
How many, I'm sorry to say this, with all respect to the contribution made by great migrants, with all respect, there are migrants and the numbers are staggering
Yeah.
who are either bankrupt or partially bankrupt. I know them personally. They have made millions of dollars of worth of properties back home. And they're here either partially bankrupt or fully bankrupt and on dole.
Yeah.
What was that? And if somebody falls in love with somebody, black and blue, white or yellow, they get married, they have children, I'm with them, 100%. But it is also true that British girls are falling trap, getting married, and they're being used for passport. Once you get the passport, they're chucked out.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
No, why will I be considered a racist if I tell the truth? You know, as I said from the beginning, black and yellow, white or black, if you marry, if you fall in love, have family, I am with you, 100%.
Yeah.
But use is going on.
Yeah.
Because it is so high, the numbers. There must be something wrong.
Yeah.
Must be something wrong.
Well, that's something that we're definitely going to be looking at. So, on the aims of obviously what you're trying to do, and you've taken great personal risk, and not just personal risk, but the emotional torture of your family, your community rejecting you. And all I'm saying to everyone out there is, I have read comments, from there are ignorant Muslims, there are ignorant Christians, there are ignorant people everywhere. But to say that you are takfir or takia, whatever the word is for it, if they say that to you, I'm saying, how can this man be doing that when he's actually said, I'm an apostate? The two things are not related, because an apostate saying, whoa, I've walked away. I'm not an apologist.
Just find me a single Muslim, for Taqi or not, who will dare come in front of the camera and say Muhammad was a rapist.
No, I agree.
And will get away with it.
Even
if he's on his knee later on says, forgive me, I know I made a mistake, I wanted to serve Islam, in camouflage, they would kill him still.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I have to be an idiot to do that.
There's another question I've got for you, because this again is something that comes up a lot, and I need to try and, or we need to try and educate people on this. The Western media often say that ISIS kill more Muslims than they do any other religion. Well, first, they definitely persecute Christians and slaughter, and the Yazidis, and basically anyone that's a kafir. But what I've been told is that when they go to a Muslim's house and that Muslim is not following the Sunnah of Muhammad, they pull them out of the house and their family, and there is a word, it's takfir, I believe, excommunication. And then once they say that word, they basically absolve themselves as ISIS fighters from killing another Muslim, because they've just excommunicated that person. So therefore, in their eyes, that person is not a Muslim.
100%. And that's what I said, that there are many Muslims who are, from the face of it, you will find them, they're very good Muslims. Well, they appear to be Muslims, all the beard and hijab and everything.
Yeah.
But don't forget, those hijabi women might be crying out to be free, being oppressed at home, many of them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yes, there are Muslims who will, if you are not Muslim enough, there are instructions that you are munafiq. That means a hypocrite. So if you are a munafiq, you are somebody to keep an eye on. And if you are proven to live among the kafirs, according to the hadiths of Muhammad, a Muslim who lives amongst the kafir, Muhammad absolves himself of any responsibility. What does it mean? Why do you think that Muslims get killed often in a crowd? Why don't they care? Because there are clear hadiths to do that. Why don't they care about children getting killed in terrorist attacks? Because Muhammad approved of an attack where children might die.
Yeah.
So yes, Muslims are falling victim to ISIS, but they're falling victim to Islam. That's what it is. They're falling victim because they want to impose more Islam. That's all. They want to impose real Islam. If you're not following real Islam, you're not Muslim enough.
Yeah, yeah.
As there are Muhammad's instructions. He said, "I would like to burn the houses if they don't come to prayer." What does it tell you? What does it tell you? Islam has to be enforced, and if you're not listening, then you should be punished.
Yeah.
It's according to Muhammad. You have to be punished.
Right. Well, obviously, I'll go through some other things with you, and I'll send you a document that is English law, and you'll see it's part of my proposition to the High Court, if you like, or my supposition to the High Court, and it's very powerful stuff. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so what I'm going to do is say, hopefully, we'll speak again, and definitely we're going to take this forward with the arguments at the High Court. That's going in very soon. But so basically, what I wanted to do is just finish off with saying I'm really grateful for you doing this interview and coming forward. I am going to be speaking to some people in the background about you. I am concerned about your safety, and I will be ensuring that people are aware of that. But did you say, how many people did you suggesting through your apostasy have now left Islam?
Thousands. I mean, at least 500-600 a day, at least.
Really?
And thousands, and I would say 20,000 at least in the last 1 year, because they're open about it, and they're openly making videos saying that we left Islam because of Mufassil Islam. They're coming out. I'm giving them courage to speak out. They're in London, trying to prove their cases because they are being persecuted back home for their, they're getting threats from Bangladesh because they were in fact hanging out with me here in London. Yeah. So how that has become are coming out from their closet, if you want to put it that way, and declaring that we have left Islam. They have got the courage because I left. Someone like me, well-known man, who can have the courage to come out and say, and they're with me because they don't want me to be alone anymore. They were alone so far, but then with me coming out, they found someone who they can trust and say that, at last there is someone who knows Islam very well, and he can guide us through even more. So this is happening. Yeah, you will not find many Muslim scholars or preachers coming out like that and saying that they're ready to defend their right from the Islamic theology. There are ex-Muslim nations, but you will not find many well-known Muslim preachers or scholars who are working for them or with them. That is the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So yes, it is working, definitely.
Good. Right. So what I'm going to do now is, because I've got to jump on a radio show. Again, thank you very, very much for coming on the interview. We will speak again if you've got any time to do another one, and we'll do a couple more, and we'll lead into this, which I'm preparing at the moment, the court case, and then
I'll give you my opinion regarding those clauses you just mentioned.
So if you have a look at that document and see if you can map some stuff to it and lay it out, and then what we'll do is just go up there and have some photographs taken and put it into the High Court, and I'll also make people aware that your life is seriously at risk, the same as mine, and Mr. Khan, like I say, doesn't consider that to be true.